Hi, Bravehearts. It's Debbie here with the DoD Health and Healing Show. And today, the topic we're going to discuss is called I'll Just Ignore It. So, yeah, it was pretty interesting as I try to always kind of incorporate things that I run into through my practice. And one of my clients, as I was doing a treatment, and we were doing a foot treatment on him because he has lost his circulation, a lot of the circulation in his feet. And he says, well, he knew that that this was going on, and he just chose to ignore it. And this was many, many years ago. He just, chose to ignore it. He was a little darker skinned, so he says that he would just go to the beach and tan a little bit more so that he didn't notice the dark spots that were happening on his feet. So, it was an interesting conversation because I'm kind of seeing this more and more with different clients coming into even this past year. Dina and I, as you know, Dina and I are here at Stewart in Stewart, Florida, and our practice is Stewart Health and Healing. And we've had 3 different ladies this past year, and 3 of them with stage 4 inflammation of the breast. And guess what all 3 of them chose to do? They ignored it for pretty much a year. I think they knew something was going on. The tissue was getting deformed. The breast was looking different. One of them thought it was an injury from her arm. The other one just, they just see the changes, and I guess the fear sets in, and whatever occurs, they're going to ignore it. It's going to go away, but it's really not, because when something like this happens, this is your body talking to you, and when you ignore things, they don't go away. They just fester and get worse. And we got to change that belief system to, I've got control of this, I've got this, and my body can heal itself, and we can do anything together. So, but it has to be there, and you have to have that change in belief, because if you don't, even right now, I believe Dina's going to cut ties with one of the women, because when you give somebody certain things to do and they're telling you an excuse for everything of why they can't do it, then they're not really looking to heal. So it's as easy as, you have to hydrate with at least, 3 liters to a gallon of water a day. And then they give you an excuse, well, they can't do it. There's, they've never drank that much or whatever. But, when you're working with someone who really wants to heal, they're going to do anything. And these, the women that have come, I think a lot of it is the fear that they live in. And this is all around us. We all live in fear, what is fear? Doc has said before, it is false evidence appearing real, because, that's all that it is. We should be living every day, enjoying our life, having the best time ever. And I watch people, and the things that they experience, they really get involved in everybody else's business, and it affects them. And I get involved in nobody's business. So, these women, I'm happy to help. But what the choices that they make don't affect me. It's on them. This is their decision, their life. Whether they do what we tell them or not is up to them. We're just creating that plan. We're creating all these things. We're creating the strategies to help them get out of a situation they've gotten into. And, people, they're on their journey. And so whatever people do, that's what they do. My journey is my journey, and their journey is their journey. This past couple weeks, I had a woman who called me up, and she's 53 years old, and she has MS, and she's in a wheelchair, and she is excited. I mean, we just had a conversation, and she ran with what I talked to her about just in the conversation. She didn't even have a perfect day consult. And immediately she started a watermelon cleanse, just a watermelon fast. And it wasn't easy for her. She stuck through it. She did a lot of detoxing, but as soon as she started seeing the results that were happening, this excited her. This got her to wake up a little bit about what is going on and what the belief systems that we have been led to, deal with all our lives, how they have all been lies. Because, all the food that we eat, all the things that they, have for us to drink, it's all poison. And so, you have to be very, very careful with what you're putting in your mouth these days, because, it's everything. 95% of things out there, anything that's easy to get, anything that's easy to come to, it's all, just going to basically poison and cause the inflammation in your body. And all the illness that you have is the inflammation in your body. And so we got to teach you to change that eating, drinking, and thinking, and change those thoughts that you're thinking. And then, it's exciting because I'll be working with this woman next week. She'll come in, the one with MS, and she'll have her first non-surgical treatment, and we'll follow her journey, and I'll keep you guys, up on what's going on. But she's really excited. She's making changes. And this is a person that's not going to live in fear anymore. This is a person that is going to, change her life. She wants to get back. She's 53. She wants to walk. She wants to run. She wants to live and age a normal life of where she has been, because she has for the last 25 years, been told that she has this condition. And that was a belief that she had, where all she had to do was make some changes in her daily lifestyle, making that a perfect day. And her life would have been totally different 25 years later, instead of them, the doctors telling her, that she had MS. But, the other thing is the fear, and with what people kind of go through, and we tell them to do some things. I have certain people and they're just gung-ho, they'll do anything, but there's certain other individuals living in the fear and having the belief systems that just doing a coffee enema is difficult for them. I have one woman for a year, I've been trying to get her to do a coffee enema, and she still won't do it. I haven't talked to her in a while, and I spoke to her the other day, and I said, have you done a coffee enema? And this is a woman who's been constipated for about 30 years, 40 years, probably her whole life. She just knows about the constipation. She was constipated when she was younger. And then, of course, she started having symptoms probably 30 years ago. And she's having to take something every day to make herself go to the bathroom the next day. So we know she's constipated. But she bought the bucket. She bought the coffee. And so she buys it all. And then you have to say, well, why is it that she can't do this? What is going on? And that, again, comes back to the fear. Because really, what's the worst that can happen if you try and do a coffee enema, right? Maybe I've heard people tell me their enema bucket tipped over because they had it sitting on the counter. I tell everybody, get an S hook, a little S, and you hook it on the towel rack, and then, you hang it so that way it can't tip over. And then they say, well, what if I make a mess? And I said, well, then you made a mess. I said, you clean it up. And, I tell people, start slow, just take things easy, and quit living in this fear. We need to cleanse, and we need to purge that liver. That is one of the most important things for, the body to do. We've been putting toxic substances in it all of our lives, and it's time that we finally clean it up. And this, this excuse of, she really couldn't even give me an excuse, to tell you the truth. She just kept always says, well, I don't know why. So it comes down to the belief systems. It comes down to fear. It comes down to the subconscious. She knows what she needs to do. And there's like, and I won't get into her personal stuff, but she has 3 or 4 things that she does that keeps her, and this is a second woman, just so you know, let me go back a step so you know. This is a second woman that I've been working with MS. And there's something in her belief system about keeping that MS. It's like Doc says, once somebody's had it for more than 9 months, it's part of their, you know, it's part of them and it stays with them. And this is a prime example. They have to be the one to wake up. They have to be the one to say, I've got this. I'm going to get out of this. And she does things with her behaviors that keep her in this illness and will always keep her in this illness. And she really has to change she has to change her behavior. She has to change her belief systems in order to get out of what she's in. And we've had many conversations about it. But if I can't get you to do at least one enema, just show me that you did something for a year. And, you go out and buy it, you go out and do all these things. You just got to take a deep breath sometimes. You got to say, I've got this, and get out of that fear, get out of that belief system. Think about it, like Doc says, think logically, because, if what you've been doing for the last 20, 30 years hasn't changed anything, it's about time to try something new. And so we're here to show you guys how to make some changes. And you don't have to do them all at once. You can go slow. It's just wonderful to see people jump right in, like my other lady coming up. She is ready. And I'm excited. I get really excited to work with people like that because they really, really want to change. And the other thing is we tell you that, the change and the work has to be done with you at home, because we're going to be here to help you on your journey. But you've got to do the clapping. You've got to do the belly button therapy, the clapping. And especially when you have certain issues like people with MS, with the feet, with the back, with the hips, you're going to do a lot of clapping. And, this is something that, you gotta do on your side. You got to do the coffee enemas. You got to do the change in the diet. You got to do all these things to make your life different. And if you don't change things, you definitely will never get out of the illness that you created, because we cannot get out of that illness living in the same environment that created it. And that is a fact. And that is logical. And for people who think that they can go to the doctor and get a pill, get a prescription, get whatever they get, and then they're going to go home and do the exact same thing, you haven't changed anything, and nothing is going to change within you, and it will come back. Things will always come back to bite you in the butt, because when you don't change the things that you need to change and realize that everything that we've been told is a lie, and we have to change the belief systems, we have to change what we're putting in our mouth, we have to change what we believe and how we react, and learn how to love each other and learn how to love yourself, not live in fear, because it's not a good place to live. And I just want to live and be happy, enjoy my life, enjoy my dogs, enjoy Steve, just have a great time and have fun every day, because if you're not having fun every day, you're not living, But we're here in Stuart, Florida. And again, Stuart Health and Healing is mine and Dina's practice. So if you're anywhere around, have any questions, you can reach me at 305-342-9559. And you can check out our website at stuarthealthandhealing.com. And we have the Cellsonic Regeneration, we have the MedBed, we have the Bioptron, we have the Vitamin D Light, we do Wolfe Non-Surgical, we do Perfect Day consults, we work on animals. I had a lot of 3 animal calls this week too. So, it just comes in, different stages. A lot of breast cancer with women. I just got off the phone with another woman, and she's doing some things. She'll be coming to see me in a few weeks, and she'll be good. She's ready to, hit it hard. And so things are going to be exciting, because we're working and just having, great results. Everything, people this past week, just having wonderful results. I worked on another woman, her spine, opening up her spine. body communicating, to her, like it's just never happened before. Getting that blood flow back into that person's feet, that's just wonderful because your feet take you everywhere. And I did ask that gentleman, I said, so why don't you want to move forward? And he says that he sabotaged himself his whole life about how he was never good enough and how um, anything that he thought that he would do was not going to be successful. So guys, change that belief system, change that thought process. Everything you're going to do is successful. Everything that happens to you for a reason. It is a lesson, and make it wonderful. Make every day wonderful. Put it out there. I am successful. I am beautiful. And, life is wonderful, and life is what you make it. So again, if you want to call 305-342-9559. So have a great day, brave hearts. We love you. And 321, we always got this. And I know you guys are going to get this. Just get out of your own way, get out of your own fear, start taking charge of your life, make the changes that you need, and everything will be beautiful. Have a great day, brave hearts.